The atmosphere is the outer layer that surrounds the Earth. It is formed by gases that protect the planet from outer space dangers like solar flares or small objects flying in space. Oxygen, that is an essential element for life, is found in this layer. The atmosphere also helps to control the temperature of the planet. We would find it hard to survive without the atmosphere. The difference between day and night temperatures would be huge.
Hello, my students of Jakarta Islamic School and Jakarta Islamic Boarding School. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How's life today? Hopefully you are pretty good today, so you can join with this online learning very well. Welcome back to Geography class, and today we are going to continue our lesson. Before we start the lesson, now let's open our class by saying basmalah and dua before study. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma. Ya Allah, give me knowledge and good understanding. Amin. Well, today we are going to continue to the next chapter. So what is our topic today? Yes, our topic today is about atmosphere. So what is our topic today? Atmosphere. Very good. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about what is atmosphere and what is the function of atmosphere and how is atmosphere formed. Are you ready to learn? Now, let's begin. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere is a layer or a set of layers of gases surrounding a planet or other material body that is held in a place by the gravity of that body. So, atmosphere is a set of layers of gases, which is commonly known as air. So, atmosphere consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.9 argon, and 0.13% carbon dioxide and other gases in trace amounts. What are the functions of atmosphere? Besides providing the carbon dioxide for living organisms to breathe, there are many functions of atmosphere. The first is that atmosphere helps to protect living organisms from genetic damage by solar UV radiation. It filters sun rays. So, if there were no atmosphere, then the sun rays will burn us more. And the second, atmosphere control the temperature. At night, the atmosphere helps us to hold back the heat which comes from the earth. So the earth will be still warm and we will not be very cold. And the third is that atmosphere helps to protect the earth from the heating of the meteor from the outer space. And the fourth is that atmosphere is a place where the weather phenomena occurs. So I have mentioned 4 functions of the atmosphere. Yes, I hope you get my point. The next is the formation of atmosphere. The process of the formation of atmosphere was started when the earth was formed. It has 2 stages. The first stage is outgassing. The first atmosphere was formed by outgassing of gases trapped in the interior of the early Earth, which still goes on today in volcanoes. The gases are methane, nitrogen, oxygen, ammonia, and water vapor. And the second stage is photochemical dissociation. The sun rays come into the earth, so then the plants could do photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis produces oxygen. It is the starting point of the existence of oxygen in the earth. The composition of atmospheres are dry gases or air, and then oxygen and aerosol. And the gases which dominate the atmospheres are nitrogen, it's around 78%, then oxygen, it's around 21%, and carbon dioxide, it's about 0.18%, and argon, it's about 0.9%. And the others are another gases in trace amount. And now the characteristic of air. The air around us has some characteristics. The first is that it doesn't have color, it is transparent, it has no smell, it is dynamic. It means that it can move, it can shrivel, it can expand. One more characteristic of the air is that it has a mass and pressure. Well, those are the characteristics of air, and then the formation, the process of formation of atmosphere. In my next explanation, I would like to explain about the layers of the atmosphere. Well, the following is the explanation about the layers of the atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere can be broken up into 4 individual layers separated by invisible changes in air temperature. The first of the 4 layers is the troposphere. The troposphere is the layer of the atmosphere inhabited by every living creature on Earth and where all weather occurs. It extends from the ground to roughly 7.5 miles above Earth's surface. Temperatures in the troposphere are constantly changing. As you climb in altitude through the troposphere, the air temperature begins to decrease, eventually dropping to minus 52 degrees Celsius. When the temperature in the atmosphere stops dropping, the second layer of the atmosphere begins. The stratosphere. The stratosphere contains the ozone layer, which protects every living thing on Earth from dangerous ultraviolet rays given off by the sun. The ozone layer has a higher concentration of ozone than anywhere else in the atmosphere. The ozone layer. Ozone forms when ultraviolet rays from the sun split molecules of oxygen in half. After being split by the ultraviolet rays, the now single oxygen atoms attach themselves to unharmed O2 molecules, forming an O3 molecule. The ozone absorbs harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun and converts it into heat, warming the stratosphere from minus 52 degrees Celsius to minus 3 degrees Celsius. The stratosphere ends at about 31 miles above Earth's surface, leading to the mesosphere. We know we have entered the mesosphere when the temperature drops again, eventually reaching minus 90 degrees Celsius. This drop in temperature occurs because the ozone layer is no longer around to heat up the surrounding atmosphere. Because of the very cold temperature, ice crystals can be found in the mesosphere. The mesosphere isn't just really cold. It also protects the Earth from being struck by meteors and metal junk hanging out in space. In fact, if it weren't for the mesosphere, the Earth would be full of craters just like the Moon. So, how does the mesosphere protect the Earth from the endless flood of life-threatening meteors? Well, incoming meteors and space junk collide with the ice crystal and other meteor debris floating around the mesosphere. This collision creates friction and heat, which destroys the meteors and space junk, leaving behind trails of glowing hot gases. These are the shooting stars that you sometimes see in the night sky. The mesosphere extends out 53 miles above the Earth's surface. After that, you reach the point of no return before the vast dark vacuum of outer space, the thermosphere. When the sun rays start to heat up the atmosphere, once again we have reached the thermosphere. There is nothing protecting this layer of the atmosphere from the heat of the sun, which is why its temperature grows to 1800 degrees Celsius. This is one reason why astronauts use spacesuits. They also use them because the air is so thin that it is impossible to breathe. The thermosphere is separated into two different sections, the ionosphere and the exosphere. The ionosphere is full of electrically charged atoms. These atoms are called ions. They are responsible for bouncing radio waves back to Earth's surface. The ionosphere is also home to the aurora borealis, or the northern lights. These amazing light shows are caused when solar particles strike atoms in the ionosphere, causing them to grow. The second section of the thermosphere is the exosphere. The exosphere is where satellites that relay television and phone signal orbit our planet.
Now, let's see what you've learned. Complete the following questions to the best of your ability. Go! The layers of the atmosphere are broken up into 4 sections. Based on what? Exactly. The layers of the atmosphere are broken into distinct layers based on changes in temperature. Why does the moon have so many craters? That's right. The Earth's mesosphere protects us from meteoroids. Since the moon does not have an atmosphere, it is forever doomed to be beaten up by low-flying meteors. Poor moon. Which layer of the atmosphere contains the ozone layer? Yes, the stratosphere. That's correct. Home to the ozone layer. Remember, the ozone layer keeps us from getting really horribly burnt by super dangerous ultraviolet rays. So take care of it. Good job. You really know your atmosphere.
Well, we have learned about the 4 layers of the atmosphere as separated by changes in air temperature. Troposphere is where all weather occurs and we all live. The ozone layer is in the stratosphere and it protects us from UV rays. The mesosphere protects us from meteors and space junk. The thermosphere contains the ionosphere, which creates the northern lights, and the exosphere, which is where satellites orbit the planet.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب.
Well, I think that's all my explanation about atmosphere. Hopefully you understand what I have explained to you. And today we have learned a lot about atmosphere. What is atmosphere? And then what are the functions of atmosphere? And how is the atmosphere formed? And don't forget, you have to be able to mention of each layers in atmosphere. Thank you very much for your attention. Let's close our class by saying hamdalah and dua after study. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu alla ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.